When it comes to the world of business and entrepreneurship, ruthlessness determines who becomes the victor and who becomes the vanquished. But can you imagine a business becoming more than just a business? A business so ruthless, it becomes a puppet master, pulling the strings of not just a whole nation, but an entire continent. A mega business, owned by some of the world's largest royal families, transforming itself into a nation-controlling juggernaut. This entity didn't just dip its toes into power. It dug a big tunnel into it, messing with profits, economies of nations, the livelihoods of peoples all over the continent, and their environment. You would think that that's enough, right? But no, they've got a playbook for the ages. They have turned neo-colonialism into an art form. Water bodies were poisoned, nature obliterated, and millions were left grappling with the aftermath. But here's the twist. The more you dig, the more you realize this isn't just about Nigeria. So, sit back and watch, because it's a global wake-up call, and it's high time we turned on the spotlight and start talking about it. So how could one company take over an entire nation?
Where the Court of Appeals has ordered oil giant Shell to pay compensation to a group of Nigerian farmers. They accuse the company of destroying their fishing villages as a result.
The year is 1937. During the British colonial era, a British oil exploration company under the name Shell DRC discovered oil in Nigeria, and with all the enthusiasm of a party crasher who never received an invite to the party, they sweet-talked their way into getting permission to go oil hunting. Fast forward to the year 1956, Shell hit the oil jackpot at Oloibiri within the Niger Delta region. It was like they stumbled upon a treasure map. And instead of a big X, there was a big oil derrick waiting to be tapped. And just 2 years later, in the year 1958, Shell decided it was time to play oil merchant and started selling their newfound liquid gold. Now, let's talk about Nigeria's pre-oil days. Back then, Nigeria was the MVP of the agricultural game, sending crops out like a superstar sending out autographs. But when Shell burst onto the scene, they got some locals scratching their heads thinking, are these folks searching for palm oil or they lost their marbles? With their official license in hand, they were ready to oil up Nigeria like it was the world's biggest frying pan. The Niger Delta became their playground, and they were determined to find the black gold hidden beneath its surface. Seismic technology became their secret weapon, transforming the hunt for oil into a techno dance party that even the geologists could groove to. They danced their way to eastern Nigeria, setting up a temporary oil site in Enugu. But wait, there's more. The colonial government decided to play matchmaker and gifted Shell a prime piece of land near Lagos. It's like they were saying, here is a big sandy canvas. Go paint it with oil, and paint they did. Across Nsukka, Okigwe Afikpo, Port Harcourt, Benin City, and even Cross River. The Shell Oil Exploration Company didn't just find oil, they found a way to turn history into a groove that the Niger Delta would never forget. As Nigeria was gaining its independence, Shell played a role in activities such as drilling wells, installing pipelines, building refineries, establishing port facilities, creating flow stations, and searching for new oil reserves. This expansion generated a substantial number of temporary jobs common during the initial stages of mining company operations, as well as numerous ongoing positions. Moreover, they contributed to the government's finances through taxes and royalties. During the Biafran War, Shell temporarily withdrew from the Delta region. The conflict was partly triggered by disagreements over how much control regional, local, and federal governments should have over the wealth generated by oil production. To increase oil production, the federal government took practical measures to maximize oil wealth. This involved adopting an open-door economic policy that granted both local and international oil companies equal access to exploration and production rights in the Ijaw area. Consequently, local or native oil companies were registered and obtained licenses for oil drilling from the Petroleum Ministry. Notable examples include Henry Stephen Delta Oil, Niger Oil Resources, and the Niger Petroleum Company, which later evolved into significant players in the oil business sector within the country. But wait, two other foreign oil companies weren't content with just watching Shell's performance from the sidelines and entered Nigeria with their licenses to find oil. These two companies were Chevron and Mobil Oil. While Chevron claimed 15.9% of the action, Mobil Oil claimed 12.3%. Let's not forget the underdog oil troops, Elf Nigerian Services, Ajib Oil Company, Niger's Petroleum, and Dubril Oil Company. They might not have had the same spotlight as the big shots, but together they formed the oil industry's Avengers B team, kicking in a solid 22.6% of the production. And then there is the Grand Master, Shell. This duo had a monopoly on oil rights during the post-colonial era that would make even the most ruthless board game players jealous. The oil industry's stage was set, and these players weren't just reading their lines, they were practically writing the script in barrels of oil. A colossal oil company like Shell wasn't content with just drilling black gold. No. They went full-on infiltration mode, embedding their employees like secret agents within the Nigerian government. Shell decided to play a real-time game of political chess, positioning their pieces in all the right places to call the shots. By having their folks in key government ministries, they became the ultimate puppet masters, pulling strings and influencing policy decisions in the Niger Delta, where the oil flows like liquid treasure. An investigation led by the oil industry watchdog Platform, along with a bunch of non-governmental organizations, unearthed some seriously unsettling information about Shell. The study suggests that instead of promoting peace like the company has always claimed to be, some financial contributions from the company might have stoked the flames of local violence in the Niger Delta regions. And we are not just talking about minor disagreements here. These actions reportedly resulted in serious human rights abuses that went on for a whole decade. Those payments supposedly caused the loss of 60 lives and the complete obliteration of an entire town. The investigation by Platform, which includes testimonies from Shell's managers, also alleges that government forces hired by Shell were involved in committing severe atrocities against local civilians, including unlawful killings and systematic torture. Shell contests the findings of the report, maintaining that its human rights record is sound and questioning the accuracy of the evidence presented. Regarding security matters, Shell's spokesperson clarified that due to the high level of criminal violence in the Niger Delta, the federal government, as the majority owner of oil facilities, deployed government security forces to safeguard people and assets. The reports suggests that Shell directed or controlled military activities were categorically refuted by the company as being entirely untrue. In recent news concerning the coup d'etat that happened in the Republic of Niger, there has been news of ECOWAS planning to initiate a military campaign in Niger, with Nigeria being the leading nation in the military intervention. But is Nigeria truly trying to restore democracy in the lands of its next-door neighbors? Or are some powerful people pulling the strings behind the shadows? Let's find out what's going on. The coup d'etat in Niger poses a threat to a $13 billion initiative aimed at constructing a gas pipeline through the sub-Saharan region. The gas pipeline's construction and operation were intended to be overseen by a partnership involving NNPC, Sonatrach, and the Republic of Niger. The ownership structure initially allocated 90% of shares to NNPC and Sonatrach, with Niger holding the remaining 10%. The Russian gas company Gazprom has engaged in discussions with Nigeria regarding its potential involvement in the project. Additionally, GAIL from India, Total Energies from France, ENI SPA from Italy, and lastly, Shell have all shown interest in participating. Now, we can connect the dots. As this project intends to connect expansive gas fields from Nigeria to Europe, the proposed pipeline spanning a distance of approximately 5,600 kilometers has been under discussion for a significant period of time. It has the potential to provide energy to 11 nations along the African coastline as it traverses from Nigeria to Morocco and subsequently links with the energy grids of Spain and Italy. This undertaking gained renewed momentum after the interruption of Russian gas supplies to the European Union due to the Russian-Ukraine war. The concept of the TransSaharan Pipeline was initially proposed in the 1970s. On January 14, 2002, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) and Algeria's National Oil and Gas Company Sonatrach signed a memorandum of understanding to initiate project preparations. In June 2005, NNPC and Sonatrach entered into a contract with Pen Limited to conduct a feasibility study for the project. By September 2006, the study concluded that the pipeline was technically, economically, and operationally viable. On February 20, 2009, NNPC and Sonatrach agreed to move forward with drafting a memorandum of understanding involving 3 governments and a joint venture agreement. The intergovernmental agreement for the pipeline was officially signed by energy ministers from Nigeria, Niger, and Algeria on July 3, 2009 in Abuja. Following the 2009 agreement, there were limited updates on the project's development for several years. However, concerns about the operational safety of such a pipeline were heightened after the Amenas hostage crisis in the year 2013. During a meeting held in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, in the month of June of the prior year, energy ministers from Nigeria, Algeria, and Niger reached an agreement to expedite efforts related to the proposed Trans-Saharan gas pipeline. This pipeline can transport 30 billion cubic meters of gas exports annually from these 3 countries to Europe. While the notion of a Trans-Saharan Pipeline was initially introduced in the 1970s, it regained attention in 2002 when the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) and Algeria's National Oil and Gas Company (Sonatrach) signed a memorandum of understanding to prepare for the project. A feasibility study concluded in September 2006 determined the pipeline's technical, economic, and operational viability. Despite this, progress on the project has been limited until a fresh memorandum of understanding was endorsed in 2022, rekindling optimism for a new beginning. So, there you have it. Surely, there's more to Shell and the Nigerian government that we still don't know. Do you think Shell might be a player urging Nigeria to overthrow the military government and restore democracy in the Republic of Niger? Tell us what you think, or rather, what you know, in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to watch more business stories like this. Thanks for watching.